Today's talk, and I shall sit for this one. So the title is, Am I My Brother's Keeper? And if you don't know, this story originates from the Old Testament. So Adam and Eve give birth. They father two children. Cain is the first one. Abel is the second one. And they grow up, and Cain works the fields. He's a farmer. He grows crops. And Abel is a herdsman. So he has animals that he takes care of. And they have their harvest, and they decide to each present a offering to God, to the Lord. And Abel chooses the best, healthiest, most perfect of his animals that he sacrifices to God. And Cain selects the best of his grains, of his produce, and he presents that to God. And God proceeds to reject Cain's offering and accept Abel's offering. I have a problem with that. Why would you do that? If we are God's children, so if you are a parent, would you do that to your children? They each bring a love offering to you out of the goodness of their hearts with deep gratitude, and then you say, I want that one. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm gonna do nothing with this one. So Cain is taken aback. And he's not just taken aback, he is really, really hurt and does not know, obviously doesn't have the emotional maturity to process and say, I'm guessing this is nothing about me. This is everything about God. So he doesn't have that presence and emotional maturity to process this rejection. And he does the most immature thing. He takes his anger, his sense of rejection, his pain out on Abel. And he invites him out on the field and kills him. He is so angry, he's so hurt that this is the best he can do with his pain. So then God comes and says, hey, where's Abel? Well, what am I supposed to say? Like, I don't know. Why are you asking me? Am I my brother's keeper? And then God says, yeah, Abel's blood is calling to me from the fields. I know what you did. You can't hide. Your guilt is obvious to me. And then he further punishes Cain. So, because you did this, you shall be a wanderer from here on. You will have no home. So what God takes away from Cain is the very sense of belonging. You will be a wanderer on the land. You shall never belong anywhere. And what is our deepest need ever as human beings? Is to belong. To belong within, have that self-acceptance. Once you have the self-acceptance, maturity can take hold and can grow with it. Belong with your family. Thank you. So the belonging, God strips Cain of that. It's a terrible story, if you ask me. It's a terrible, terrible story. It's one of those stories that, and this is definitely a topic for another talk, but it is one of those stories for which I no longer identify as a Christian. It's just one of those stories. There's many of them, but this is definitely one of them. Am I my brother's keeper, though? That's a good question. And I think it is especially relevant today. It is relevant today in this social and political and cultural climate that we have created in this country and as well as other countries. If I am not my brother's keeper, my choices will reflect that. If I am not my brother's keeper, if I am not my brother's children's keeper, if I'm not my brother's children's keeper, then my choices will serve me in the here and the now. If I'm generous enough, it may also serve my immediate family, but that's about it. Then that which I do shall not consider my neighbor, my countrymen, other countries, other life forms, the environment. Who cares? And it certainly will not consider the generations that are to come beyond me, if I am not my brother's keeper. If I am not my brother's keeper, I may or may not get vaccinated. If I get vaccinated, I only do it so maybe I don't get the virus, or if I get it, it'll be easier for me to survive it. But I certainly will not get vaccinated to protect you, to protect the children who cannot get vaccinated yet, to protect the immunocompromised people who also cannot get vaccinated, to protect those who live in countries who have no access to that vaccine. Who cares if this virus is around forever? What's it to me? Why should I contribute to it going away? So allow me to thank you for getting vaccinated. And I know that you are vaccinated because at this moment in time, we are only welcoming into the building people who can show proof of vaccination. And those who are not vaccinated or cannot show proof, we welcome you to watch us online, on Facebook, on YouTube on demand, or join our Zoom group. If I am my brother's keeper, then my choices will also consider generations to come. Then I might care about the environment. If I am my brother's keeper, then I might care about life in general, whatever form life might choose to show up as. Animal kingdom, plants, planet. I certainly care about other nations then. So, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Malcolm Gladwell, right? I just can't have enough of him. And if you are not familiar with him, then may I suggest that you read anything by him, listen to his podcasts. It's absolutely remarkable. And if you are familiar with him, then probably you're quite familiar with what I am going to share right now. This is a theory that I first heard from him, and it's fascinating. So he talks about the weakling and the strongling. So he says that when you play different sports, it is important what sort of strategy you apply. For instance, basketball is a very typical strong link sport, meaning you have to put most of your resources in one or two fantastic players. James LeBron. James LeBron can get the ball here, and he can dribble his way all the way to the other end of the court and score. One brilliant player can score and can win a game for an entire team. So basketball is a typical strong link game. Soccer, on the other hand, if you really want to have a very good soccer team, then soccer is a weak link sport, because it takes so many passes between so many players till finally the ball is in the right position to score. And if at any point a player is weak and cannot handle the pass, then the opposing team will get the ball, and then they get a chance to score. So it is very important to train and put a lot of resources into your weakest players, because soccer is a game where a lot of mistakes happen. And whoever makes the fewest mistakes and takes advantage most of the other players' mistakes will probably end up winning the game. So the strategies that we apply matter. If you treat soccer as a strong link game, then you will go and spend all your money and all your resources to buy one or two very expensive, fabulous players, and you will keep losing games. If you treat basketball as a weak link game, then you will keep putting your resources into weak players, and you're not really acquiring a fabulous, fantastic star player, and you will lose games. You will lose games. Now, a country is a weak link game. The global community is a weak link game. And if we did not know that before COVID, we certainly know it now. We are only as strong and as healthy as our weakest link. So, as human beings, when we play, when we set up our culture, our political system, we must be aware that this is a weak link game, and we are our brother's keepers. As human beings, we are. We know that because although there is this terrible story in the Bible about Cain and Abel, there's also another place where it speaks about the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have done unto yourself or upon yourself. And in fact, the golden rule shows up in many, many different religions and philosophies that are around the world. It shows up in different ways, but the essence is the same. Do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. The global community is a weak link game. So we have to look out for each other. If we structure a country has a strong link game, everybody loses. Even the ones on top lose because the support system falls out from underneath them as well. And COVID has taught us that we need to make sure that health insurance is extended to everybody. If you get sick, I get sick. That resources have to be made available to everyone. That greed is not the way to run a country. We are our brother's keepers. And globally as well, we are other nations' keepers. We must make sure that other nations on this planet also thrive, that they also have resources because we are one. Because we all impact each other. We all affect each other. We are our brothers and sisters' keepers. So, if that was true, how would our choices reflect that? And I invite you to just take notice of your life and your lifestyle. And then where are ways? And what are the ways in which you can make adjustments to better reflect that you are your brother's keepers? Ways small and big. When you go to the voting booth, what are your considerations? Is your vote reflecting that you are your brothers and sisters' keeper? Or like Cain, believe that you are not? The relationships, the connections, the choices to people, connections to people and materials. What do they reflect? Is there room for improvement, for change? What would it take to make the first step, the second? Acknowledge yourself for all the ways in you have already made adjustments. Just give yourself acknowledgement, appreciation, a good hug. Well done, honey. And then, where there's room for improvement, do a little bit more. For we are our brothers and sisters and animals and planet, all life forms keeper. And so it is.